Welcome, my friends, to this very first episode of Suno QUOD. Suno QUOD is where I answer the QUOD, question of the day. And today's question of the day is a really good one that I know a lot of people have as well. It's from our friend Jerry out in Australia. For you to be on the QUOD, I look for a subscriber and I look for a question that everyone can benefit from. So let's jump into it. This question has evoked me creating a video about the AI music blueprint for those of you who are real traditional musicians. Here's a question from Jerry. Hi mate, thanks very much. Your testing of Moises, Sunno, and Producer are very helpful. I tried Moises, but I didn't get very far without it asking for more money and more money, but I couldn't even trial it. One of my projects, I have I have the lyrics for that, I have the melody tune, I can sing, and I'm trying to figure out which one would be best for the project, to develop the project. I guess that's what Jerry means. And I've got a blues album I want to do and another funk album. So trying to find the right tool which will help me along. I can play keys and guitar, flute. Oh, wow, that's great. Some sax. Oh, that is amazing. Obviously, that's a voice to text spelling, sax. So being able to generate those things would be really great. I currently use Logic Pro and Cubase. So I need to figure out how do I take information developed in the AI tool, bring them into Cubase or Logic or any of those doors. But the hard part I would see, getting the stems and good quality. So again, thank you very much. This is Jerry in Melbourne, Australia, originally from Canada. Looking forward to seeing more of your guidance and frankness. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jerry. Jerry, here's the 2 cents. Let me be honest. I've just done a red eye, so my eyes might be red. But listen to me close, Jerry. What you need to do, step number 1 is to decide on the first song. Decide on the first song to do. When you get your first song underway, it becomes a project amongst many others. And your first song, let me just let you know, in Suno, your first song is typically an eye-opener. It sounds amazing. But by the time you get 3-4 months down the road, you will realize you have grown and you've realized tricks of the trade to get even savager. Is that a word? To get even craftier in your manipulation of Suno. You see, when I started Suno, I was blown away by, I can ask it to do this and it does it. I can drum a beat on my table and it will amplify. Yeah. But going beyond that, this is a body of work you need to get done. So you got to look at it like, I got a time frame, and I'm going to execute and get this done. But your work is not going to be done as simply as that, because you need the experience in Suno. You get what I'm saying, Jerry? All right, let's go to Suno. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Yeah? So let's jump into Suno, because I want to give you some bare bones lessons learned, if you will, that I have encountered that I think will help you. Okay. Rule number 1. When you're going into Suno, follow me. I got to show you this. When you're going into Suno, you have the ability to be in a simple prompt or a custom prompt. Please, for you as a musician, you can start off just understanding how the bells and whistles work. And you can do that in simple, but that does not give you the ability to feed your Suno agent prime beef. What I mean by prime beef is this, Jerry. You gotta feed it superior audio prompts. Now, don't be moved by when people say, the tool's gonna steal your song. Give me a break. I heard from the CEO on very recent interview he did with one of the artists he was interviewing, that Suno doesn't actually learn from what you're putting in. I know it's there in the contract, but wouldn't it make sense to not feed Suno all the garbage people are putting in? People putting in bathroom singing, people putting in stuff they do on the road, and putting in stuff beating on the table. I mean, how is that good food for Suno? You get what I'm saying? So feed your agent prime beef, get an audio prompt, make sure it has a solid melody, solid rhythm, even if you don't have a bass to go with it. Now, being the musician you are, I'm guessing you have a vision of how you want your music to sound. Now, this is for you because I know you'll get what I'm saying, Jerry. Now, you hear what's playing in the background? So that is a drum loop that was from a single of mine I did last year. And the single was pretty much focused on showcasing this keyboard. What you need to do is something similar. Get a beat, get the melody, get the harmony, and craft something with vocals on it. Okay? Now, when you've done that, you got to come in here and you got to feed it in custom. Don't be in simple, be in custom. The reason why I am advocating you do this is because it sounds like you've got some very specific music. You got the melody already, you got the words, you're able to sing, you're able to play. So why don't you perform the song? Watch this. Watch this. Perform the song. All right. So in performing the song, you're going to have to play a beat, a drum beat, give it a beat, okay? Give it a bass, like this, a bass. See that? You get what I'm saying, Jerry? Give it a bass, give it a beat. And on top of the bass, give it some chords, like this. Okay? Give it the melody. Give it prime beef, bass, drum beat, melody, chords, and go all out like you're in a real performance. Record what you're doing vocally, record what you're doing on the keyboard. And this is how Suno will get as close as possible to what you're looking to do. Now, you got to understand, I've been in the Suno game for about 6 months now. I first dabbled into it, just not really paying much attention to it. And then I got more serious in June. So that gives me about, 4 months of like really being, actually it's not 4 months. I got really hyper serious in July. So yeah, so what I've noticed in my time of doing it is the best compositions from Suno, the best ideas I get are when I feed it prime beef. And I'm going to encourage you to go to my Fill the Creator page, and I want you just to listen, just get an idea of what Suno can do, because a lot of these tracks, pretty much all the tracks you see under my Fill the Creator page, they are largely done with Suno as the creative base. And I can tell you everything from, let's look at everything. Everything from jazz to gospel to rap to hip hop, avant-garde, very complex jazz, funk. Talk about funk. Oh, now it wants to play this, but I won't let it. I'm going to skip it. All right. Okay, so listen to how funky this gets. It's gonna get funky.
Getting funky. Getting funky. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. It's getting funky. Getting funky. In the neighborhood. It's getting funky. Oh, yes, it is.
You get what I'm saying? Everything from funk to R&B, even rock. Like, I've done rock tracks, I've done neo soul tracks. Suno delivers. So your question of the tool to use, I would say without reservation, go for Suno. Now let me share my process with you, because we got to talk process, we got to talk flow, how things generally move. So let's go. Let me give you a few ideas. So you got to do a soul, a pop kind of jam. You got to do a blues jam. You got to do a funk jam. So use various tools to experiment. While I use Suno as the base, I'm not saying don't use anything else. Try your hand on Producer AI. Maybe it can give you some ideas for something different. So I would take that prime beef ingredient, inject it into Producer AI if you got access to it, see what it gives you. Moises is very good for stem separation. I'm not a fan of Moises for creation. Moises is also not bad for mastering, so I would use it for that. But I'm not ostracizing the others. I'm just saying I would recommend using Suno as a base. For pop and soul, maybe that could be the beginning. Why not start with one track and see how long it takes you to develop it to your satisfaction? You gotta download the stem. So that was one of the questions you had. Let me show you how that works. So when you're in Suno, you can download stems. This is a very good example because I just released this track last night. So this one, Coming Home. So what I did was I got the stems, get stems, and you would click on the orange if this was your first time getting these stems. But because I've already gotten them, I'll click on see extracted stems, already extracted stems. And this, all you need to do is hit download all the stems. Then you move them into your DAW. It's as simple as ABC. And you know how to use this stuff because you've been doing it. So download the stems and begin to massage it. But for me, what I like doing is having a near ready output from Suno. I like knowing that I don't have to move too much stuff around. I'm just going to take the stems into the DAW, massage them, clean them up, do some remixing, some remastering. But as far as the order and the arrangement of the song, I don't like having to cut it and do all that stuff. So I make sure my prompt is a prime beef prompt that I'm feeding Suno. Most of the time I'm getting something totally amazing out of it. Let me give you a further example. So going to some of the tracks that I just shared from Phil the Creator. I want to say that this album, Gospel According to Groove, and this other album, which I'll bring up here, Neo Grit Jazz Trap. These albums were some of the most, let's say, they're kind of rich in terms of the prompt, but more difficult.
Get up, sit up, stand up, yeah.
Now listen to the vocals. All this is not by accident. This was all planned. Hear the harmonies coming.
Get up. Action, shut. What do you think?
All that stuff is not by accident. It's all engineered in. It's all planned.
What do you think of that?
All planned.
Think of that.
And those hits, it's all planned.
What are you gonna do about that? Gotta do it. Gotta make it happen. Gotta move it.
All those modulations,
Now's the time to move
they're not by accident.
Yeah. Get going good. Get going good.
You hear those transpositions? All that stuff is not by accident. Now, for this one, this album, the up and down of the chords that you're hearing, this was all prompted with audio.
I'm too blessed to have no fear.
So all this stuff was sung by me with the keys, with the drums, fed to the tool. That's how it's so precise. You see, let's see, there's another one. I think I've got an a cappella here. Let's see, this one. Yeah, this a cappella track. All this stuff was prompted into the tool. This wasn't by accident. You know what I'm saying?
Lord, help me.
The rhythm, the chordal stuff that you're hearing in the background, the 6-part harmony direction, all that stuff was fed into the tool. So I know a lot of people will now have answers to the questions they have, as in, how do you get Sunno to sing like that, to do that? Well, I am doing it and recording it and feeding it with the bass, the keys. If it's just harmony, if it's just a cappella, then Sunno is fed a prime beef a cappella prompt with all of the modulations and transpositions. So if you're really looking to get something great out of Sunno as a musician, this is for everyone else, not just you, Jerry, but you have to play the long game. The long game means you could spend, like, to be honest, I spend hours on the prompt. Not even the text prompt yet, just the audio prompt. And then on top of the audio prompt, I'm spending at least 5 to sometimes 15 minutes getting the audio prompt right, to cook that thing, to sizzle it. You get what I'm saying? To let that marination take place. I'm not looking for some microwave stuff. I'm looking for crock-potted Sunno output. You get what I'm saying? So that is the mindset. Prime beef all the way. None of that stuff. So you got to capture your prime beef first. Record loops, sketches with your instrument, keys, guitar, flute. You said you play all those things. Yeah, capture them in Cubase and then export it as a wave and then feed it into your beast, your AI tool, your minion. I call it my minion. Feed that minion some prime beef. And if you didn't feed it scraps, you're going to be delighted at the output. If you fed it scraps, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. All right. Match tools to each phase. So think about ideation. You could use Sunno Custom, the weirdness sliders. Just set them however you wish. You can add square bracket prompts, as I've shown on this channel. You could refine. There are times I've had to take stuff into a different DAW, but with version 5, I haven't had to do a whole lot. You could also use Audemy if you're looking for some additional co-singers, but I know you sing, so I'm not sure if you do the background vocals. The background vocals from Sunno, they're decent enough. So you may not need to do much of that. You might just stay in Suno all the way. But I'm just being open to you using other tools. As far as production, get the stems back into Logic, Cubase, and mix and rehumanize them with live playing. So it's like you feed it with live stuff, you get its output, and then you sizzle it with live stuff. And the key to this is every project is different. You got to iterate like a scientist. You got to run various versions of Suno. Sometimes I do up to 10, to be honest. Some of them I almost like have deleted them, and I realize, oh, there's a diamond in the rough in that one. Let me take some elements out of that and see if I can blow them up. Like my last release, Coming Home, that I was about to trash that particular version, but I realized I could add a lead vocal to the beginning just to get its mistake right. And it became very, very useful for the entire track. I just played piano and organ on it and mixed it. And sometimes we could be hasty in deciding off with its head. But be attentive to know when you've prematurely deleted a track. Just be hyper conscious in the moment, listening intently, because that's when you're going to realize, oh no, take one was better. You know what I'm saying? So when you do this, I want you to realize you are not failing, you are experimenting, okay? When it comes to integrating, you got to think about this as a mechanical process where you're doing things according to a plan and structure. So record bass melody or chords, maybe an entire performance, feed it to the minion, export the stems, overlay live instruments in the DAW, cut out stuff you don't want. Like I delete some tracks I don't want. Like maybe the keyboard track isn't good, delete it, add a new one. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey. And I enjoy the journey, and it just makes it go quicker. It makes 10 hours. And honestly, a lot of the tracks that I've been doing, sometimes 10 hours goes and I didn't even notice 10 hours, believe it or not. Moving on, depending on what you're trying to do, you might need to refeed what you've done back into the AI to get harmonies out of it. You need to do a lot of interpolation depending on the song and the complexity. The beauty of working in Suno comes when you understand the power of mastering. Because when you understand the power of mastering, wow, you could transform a song that sounds just mid to sounding insanely awesome. So I encourage you to spend a lot of time doing the mix, doing the mastering. I do a final mix in my DAW. I throw in some mastering elements with Isotope. I take it out, usually into Lander. It's never failed, because what I want to do is expand that middle, especially like sometimes from Suno, it can be so narrow. You got to expand it. You got to put some depth and dimension into your mix, and then you got to master it as well. So spend time doing that, and it just elevates the quality of the work. So the summary stack is idea, refine, expand, finalize. I mentioned Producer AI because it is pretty sick in its own right. And I'm just being honest. Let me bring it up. I'm going to bring up Producer AI. And I think you've shown me do some stuff with it in the past. But what I like about Producer AI is I could do some abstract stuff. Like this is an image that I brought into Producer AI, and I said, generate a music piece based on this image. And it gave me something pretty crazy, pretty wild. And these are the kind of things that excite me as an artist, because You cannot do this in many tools. Listen, it's very different. It's not my usual go-to, but I can definitely vibe with any music genre. Oh, I'm sorry. That's harsh. That's heavy. I didn't mean it to be that heavy. Let me tune it down a bit for you. Here we go. So it's got the image, and I could say, producer, can you hear me, producer?
I can hear you loud and clear. Ready to dive into some music? What do you want to work on today?
Producer, you know the image. Producer, the image I uploaded before, I want you to give me a neo-soul interpretation of that image. Can you show me something new, something fresh?
Let's get into it. We can spin that image into a neo-soul vibe. Smooth, soulful, warm. I'll translate it into rich sound textures. What kind of mood or groove are you thinking? Laid back or something with a little funk edge?
Laid back, please.
Cool. Laid back neo-soul it is. Think mellow Rhodes keys, smooth bass lines, jazzy drums, and warm vocals. I'll shape this track around that vibe. Let me craft a sound prompt to match.
So you see, what I like about it is it opens new gateways and new portals for ideas that you may not have gone towards. You know, it gives me new ideas, new dimensions, just fun stuff that I wouldn't have thought of before. So anyway, you kind of get the idea. We won't stick around to hear that neo-soul vibe. Looks like it's going to take some time. Let me ask, where is it? This is how I go back and forth between me and producer, asking it, where's my stuff? Where is it? Okay. Let's see what it's going to come up with. It has a habit of wanting to craft lyrics for everything. So sometimes you may have to give it more direction and tell it, hey, you know, I'm fine if you don't have lyrics. Just show me what you can do, kind of thing, without the lyrics. But anyway, it's generating it, showing it's coming towards 100. And these things can open up ideas. But if you've already written all your songs, this could be for another day. Not bad.
Late in the evening when my mind gets clear, something about the quiet pulls me near, mixing these feelings like I know the formula, trying to understand what we could turn into. You got me wondering, taking notes, watching the way
Add some other instruments on it.
Maybe it's the calm that helps me see all the little pieces you left with me. This is how it starts, slow revelations, find something real, then the pain.
All right, you get the idea.
Soft and easy.
Having too much fun.
You're the kind of thought that frees me, yeah, yeah. You're the kind of thought that frees me. Ooh.
That sounds good. And, you know, I like Producer AI for that reason. I know how to mold it to get something that I like. But anyway, this is really probably more for other musicians, because I know for you, Jerry, you've already written a lot of your material and you're just looking to get it out. Here's my final thought. You got to think about artificial intelligence as your co-producer. You saw how I was going back and forth with producer AI. Co-producer, not your composer, right? You bring the emotion. It will bring the amplification, the expansion, and blend your live groove with digital precision, right? When you're feeding the tool, give it prime beef, but don't forget to iterate. It's not going to be perfect the first or second time. It's not a given to be perfect the 10th time. There are times I have spent an hour on a track and still not gotten the direction until an hour and 2 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So learn the lesson from your buddy Phil, who has been doing this now for a few months, but I've been producing music for over 30 years. So I can tell you, even for those who do not go down the AI alley, it's all in the iteration. It's all in the doing it over and over again. Correct. Put some ideas back into the oven. Let them cook. Take it out. Let it compound. Because you could listen to something tomorrow and it doesn't sound like how it's sounding today. Today it's frustrating. It's sounding bland. But when you come back tomorrow, it could be, I could actually work with that. Okay? So, my friend, that's the end of our Suno QUOD, the very first in a series. If you have a question and you are a subscriber, you got to be a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, I would love to know what your questions are. Send them in. And hopefully, we're going to have many more Suno QUODs. All right? It's your buddy Phil tuning out. Let's do some justice to this jam. I'll see you next time.
Where the answers feel complete. This is how it starts. Slow revelations, finding something real, hidden the patience like a light coming on, soft and easy. You're the kind of thought that frees me. Don't need a force what's already here. Let it unfold, let it appear. We got our own kind of logic now. Something true that we figured out. This is how it starts. Slow revelation.
You take care, friends.
Finding some